Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Facebook. Go find my people. Good morning, Chainbreakers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you today to today's edition of Chainbreakers 365 Live. Hi, I'm Brad Smith, and I'm your host for Chainbreakers 365 Live and the creator of hashtag Uplift and Rise. And I want to welcome you here this morning. We are finishing the part of a three-part series on the basic human needs. And I put out a little piece earlier that said this would be the keys to love and happiness. So that's indeed what is going to fall in this, because we're going to talk about those human needs, recognizing the human needs, how to serve the human needs, and how at the same time we can not only choose and achieve love, but also happiness. So just to kind of go in and review just a little bit, the last few days we've been covering some of the first four basic needs. On the first two, at the very basic lowest level of that hierarchy, are both the need for security and the need for adventure. So they're a little bit of a paradox. They're kind of offsetting principles a little bit, but we've got very basic human needs in that level of security and security in uncertainty, and knowing what to expect, and knowing what to be able to count on, and knowing what you can rely on. Sometimes that basic human need and security is in a monetary security. It's being able to make a certain amount of income, or it's being able to have a safe home, or it's being able to have enough in the bank that you could weather a storm for a period of time, or you could overcome an emergency, right? So sometimes it's security in a relationship, because if you've ever been in a relationship that suddenly fell out of sorts, right, it can disrupt your entire world trying to figure out how to get that level of security back, because that feels so out of kilter. But at the same time, when everything is solid, when everything is secure, we have that need for adventure, that need for uncertainty, as it were, that need for excitement. And sometimes there's very positive and negative ways to be able to achieve that. Sometimes it's being able to, even in a controlled environment where you can still be secure, right? We can feel that insecurity when we go to a horror movie, right? So it can scare us considerably. It can give us that excitement. It can give us that thrill. And still we know we're safe, because even though they're killing somebody on the screen, they're not killing us, right? So another thing we can do is potentially go to an amusement park or a theme park, right? We can ride the roller coasters. We can go on the thrill rides, because there's something that's going to be able to pump up that blood, pump that oxygen, give us that rush of adrenaline. Because in that security, once we start feeling so secure, what we find is then we have a level of boredom that starts to kick in, right? So we get that level of boredom, and that's where we look for adventure. That's where we look for the excitement. That's where we look for the security, or the insecurity, right? So there's a lot of things we can do that are positive, and there's things that we can do that are negative, right? So it's being a little bit out of our comfort zone. Drugs and alcohol can give us that. Gambling can give us that thrill. So those are the same kinds of things from a negative standpoint, because they, in the long run, they are not things that are good for us, but they can give us that thrill. They can give us that excitement. They can give us that level of adrenaline and insecurity, as it were, to give us what we need in that level of adventure. So the next level of human need is the need for love. Or I'm sorry, the need for significance. So significance is what we're doing to figure out how to stand out. That's where we need to be seen as an individual. That's where we need to That's how we identify ourselves. Sometimes we see that in outstanding athletes, right? There's that need to outperform everybody else, to be the best in our field. But we can also see that in business. We can see that in somebody that wants to be on top, be ahead of everybody else, be the best in their industry, sell more cars than anybody else, sell more life insurance than anybody else, sell more real estate than anybody else. You want to be the #1 real estate office in your market. You want to be the #1 auto dealership in the market. You want to be the top of your brand. So there's a lot of ways that we can necessarily do that. We can also find significance in being the best in an industry. Maybe we want to be, maybe we build buildings. So there's a way to be the best in a positive way. We can build the best building in the world. We can build the tallest building in the world. We can achieve something of great significance. But in that same analogy, we can also have that biggest building, the most significant building, by tearing all the others around us down. And there are those of us in real life that do that with people. So we can find more significance in our life by making others look smaller. And we can find security in that because we stand out and we look smarter than anybody else, or we look better than anybody else, but we do that in that negative way of tearing somebody else down. The next level of doing that is in that need for love, that need for connection. And maybe it's connection with our spouse or significant other. Maybe it's connection with our children. Maybe it's connection in our friendships or our relationships at work. It's fitting in and being part. So as you can see, the fitting in and being part is also diametrically opposed, or a paradox, to standing out. Because the more we have that need to stand out and separate ourselves, the more we pull away from that level of connection. And so there's a lot of levels of paradox in there that can completely throw us off along the way. And because those are all diametrically opposed, and because they tend to challenge each other, it's why most of us stay locked in those first 4 basic human needs. It's finding that balance in those first 4 human needs that keep us from achieving or going through to the next 2 levels. And the next 2 levels, are the need for growth, right? The need for growth, or continually growing beyond ourselves, not being satisfied with the status quo, needing to constantly improve, to better educate ourselves, to better lift up ourselves, to grow, to being able to have a larger company, those types of things. And the last one is the need to live beyond ourselves. So I'm going to get into that a little bit, but at this point, I just want to take a quick break. I want to thank you for being here. There's 3 of you I can see: Jeremy George, Connie Davis, Bill Schomburg. Thank you for being here this morning. But I can also know that we've got 5 on here. I think I saw a light come in for a second ago from Tom Chavez. Tom, thanks for being here as well. And whoever number 5 is, I don't know who you are at all. I can't see you. So let's stop in just a second. Say hi to each other. Say good morning to each other. Say good morning, Bill. I'll say hello to you. You say hello to me, whether it's now live or in replay. It's just that chance to stand out and say hello. But the other thing I want you to do is to go out and hit that share button. Hit the share button, share this out, because that's where we will continue to pour into others. That's where we will continue to live beyond ourselves. That's where we'll continue to grow with this entire community. Good morning, Jeremy. Glad to have you here. There. Good morning, Tom. I see you here as well. Good morning to you. So thanks so much for doing that and being willing to share this out. I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. This is how we are going to keep growing this community. But I want to now dig in to where we're going to really, truly be able to achieve both love and happiness. Because love, while a very basic human need, is something that we need to be able to hang onto. That need we have to be able to have something that's very significant to us, that give us that security in that relationship. And it's in living beyond ourselves that truly is where happiness will come from. Because that what we find is that people will do much more for others than we will do for ourselves. When there are people important in our lives, we will go we will put our own basic needs aside to pour into others we care about. And I think you've probably seen that with your spouse or somebody you're in a significant relationship with. We've done that for our children. I know parents that will go without food to be able to feed their children, right? So when that level of security is still off, they'll still provide for their children where they're not providing for themselves. So still good mornings coming in. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate this. And I see likes up there from Marcus Stone and from Roger Bowen. Thanks for being here this morning, guys. I appreciate it. But it's in giving, and it's in giving of ourselves, of our time, of our money, of giving just of ourselves, that we pour into others' lives. Now, there needs to be some level of appreciation in that. And that's also where we find that appreciation in ourselves, by taking time every day to spend time in gratitude for what we have in our lives. And I know that for each of you, you have people in that very inner circle that are important to you. So here's a challenge that I want to give to you to help you achieve love and happiness in your future life. So in this, and maybe sometimes for some of you, this is going to be easy because those people are in your home, but we've also got those friends that we've got to reach out to. Sometimes it's in our family, and if we're empty nesters, our family is all over the country, or maybe all over the globe, right? So this may take some time. So in the next 30 days, though, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, first of all, today, write down the list of those people that are most important to you. And maybe it's family, maybe it's close friends, maybe it's close connections, maybe it's your coworkers, maybe it's your closest friends. But I want you to write down that list of people that if called in the middle of the night, if you got a call from them in the middle of the night and they needed you, you would drop everything and be there. So think of that list for a second, and I want you to write down that list of people. Might be short, it might be small or large. So if your list is small, and I'm going to say if it's less than 10, I want you to think of 2 more people. Stretch yourself and think of 2 more people that are important to you, but who you would not have necessarily thought of when I said that the first time. They are probably people that you would drop everything if they called you in the middle of the night, but you didn't expect them to call in the middle of the night. But so at least add 2 more people, right? So with now this list, here's what I want you to do. Now being the last day of August, before the end of September, I want you to reach out to those people in the next 30 days and do something that, and I'm talking about an activity, do something. Maybe it's go buy something, maybe it's go spend time with, maybe it's make a trip with, maybe it's whatever, but I want you to do something for each of those people individually that lets them know how important they are to you. Now, keep in mind, we all have our own love language. So necessarily the way you would reach out isn't necessarily same way they would receive it. So make sure you're speaking to them in their love language so that they truly feel valued by you. Now, maybe if it's that child on the other side of the country, it's not such an easy thing to do in the next 30 days. So sometime before the end of the September, I need you to have it planned. Okay, I want you to have reached out to them and have whatever you're going to do with them planned, so that you have a list of activities somehow. Maybe it's gifting to them, maybe it's time, maybe it's I'm going to go spend the weekend with them, I'm going to go on vacation with them, maybe it's we're going to go to dinner together, maybe it's we're going to go to the movies or go to do this activity together, right? But somehow I want you to pour into their lives in the next 30 days, or at least have it planned. Because as we live outside of ourselves and pour into those people that mean the most to us, we will find that our love connections and our level of happiness will increase as well. I want to thank you so much for being here this morning. If you have found this helpful, and if you haven't already, be sure to reach out and hit that share button. Hit that share button right there and share this out. Share it to your family, share it to your friends, share it to your coworkers. And if they are not on Facebook, make sure they know they can find these messages over on YouTube. So when you go to YouTube, go to Chainbreakers 365 on YouTube. You can find all of my videos there. I've tried to give them some level of significance by tags or whatever and titles, but you can always find them there. Go in and have them and do it yourself. Go in and subscribe. Let's get those subscriber list up as well. Or if nothing else, go to chainbreakers365.com and you can find the page for all the videos right there, and you can see them there as well. But I want to thank you so much for being here today. I will be here on Monday morning, which is Labor Day. And although I won't be working, I am still going to work with you. So I will be here at 7:30 a.m. on Monday. Please come and join me. I look forward so much to being here with you. I want you to thank you again for being here. And I look forward to seeing you on Monday for Chainbreakers 365 Live. Thanks so much for being here, and have an awesome, awesome weekend. Goodbye.